Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Jacobs, and you're listening to Juiced Sports Radio. And Dennis Rodman is apparently extremely sick and very ill. Dennis Rodman, the Worm, Dennis the Menace, or as I like to think of him, the greatest rebounder and greatest nut job I've ever seen, is apparently in deep financial crap, and his health is apparently deteriorating. We don't know exactly the extent to what, or if it's life-threatening, but it sounds like it's pretty bad. He's unable to pay child support. He's so sick apparently that he can't even, his image has no value, and that's unbelievable considering he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a sad day. It's not overly shocking. Dennis Rodman was basically, for all intents and purposes, a cartoon character. He was a Herculean rebounder. He was a two-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, but he was crazy. He had a fling with Madonna. He had a brief marriage with Carmen Electra. He wore a wedding dress to promote his book. He was nuts. And he, as I said, he was a terrific rebounder, but he was a very strange person. He spent lots of money. He liked to have a good time. He practically lived in Vegas, it seemed. And all that spending and drinking and drugs and different things has caught up to him. He's 50 years old now. He's no longer the young pup he was. These are the sacrifices some of our athletes make. They live the high life, and it catches up to them later in life. You know, you think you're immortal as a basketball player or as an athlete in general. You're paid millions of dollars. Every camera is on you. Every guy wants to be you. Every girl wants to be with you. And, you know, he was a badass. But his ways have gotten him in trouble. And with his health deteriorating, his money down to seemingly nothing, which is another case of how do you spend as much money as Dennis Rodman made in endorsements and his contract over the course of his career. But you know what? When these guys think they're larger than life, they spend larger than life. And it's unfortunate, but as I said, it's not surprising. Rodman played for the Spurs, the Pistons, the Bulls, the Mavs, and the Lakers. And he was a rebounding machine. He was a terrific defender. He was the epitome of consistency. He kicked players in the groin. He was physical. He didn't give a damn how he played you. He was going to be rough and tumble. People think Ron Artest is aggressive. He was 10 times what Ron Artest used to do. His career, which spanned from 1986 to the year 2000, he averaged 13 rebounds a game. I mean, that's unbelievable. He had 11,954 rebounds for his NBA career. For a guy who wasn't a scorer, he was basically a garbage man. He got rebounds, he played hard defense, and that's what he was used for, and he won 5 NBA championships. So, he was considered a winner, but boy, it's hard to call him a winner now, because with his life in shambles, his health down to nothing, he's had 3 different marriages that failed. I mean, it's just athletes nowadays, you know. They get put on a pedestal, they think they're larger than life, and they're not immortal. They're just not. And some athletes spend their money wisely, some invest, some are good-hearted, good people, but then there's people like Dennis Rodman. Life was his party, and he was going to rock out, and it's caught up to him. For all his piercings and tattoos and crazy hairdos, he was merely a figment of his own imagination. He tried to be something that he couldn't continue to be, and as I said, it finally caught up to him. My name is Scott Jacobs. You've been listening to Juiced Sports Radio. Do you feel sorry for Dennis Rodman? Do you think the situation is sad, or did you expect this? And for people who didn't grow up with Dennis Rodman, he was one heck of a rebounder, but he was a crazier person, and we're seeing the remnants of that now. Dennis Rodman's colorful character made him a sensation. It might be his demise. Good night, everybody.